Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? I hope you're doing very, very well. Look how fat my face has gone, look at that. And look how receding my hair's going. I'm sitting a bit closer and it's like, oh my God, what have I become? Anyway, folks, I want to talk about this, the Omega Man, 1971, directed by Boris Sagal. And of course, Charlton Heston, Moses, Ben Hare, Taylor from Planet of the Apes. You know, it was another great movie choice for him. He entered an era of suddenly playing sci-fi heroes. Planet of the Apes, Beneath the Planet of the Apes, The Omega Man, Soylent Green. All classics, of course. And this, as long-standing viewers will know, is an unparalleled favourite of mine. I have covered it a fair bit on the channel. I've discussed the music. Oh my, Ron Grainer's exquisitely avant-garde and bizarre, baroque, exciting, pop, funk, crazy sort of score. It's got everything in it. And it splits the camp, of course. Many people can't stand the score, many people love the score. I know many of you guys definitely love it, because we've discussed it many times before. It's playing right now. Anyway, that there behind me is an epic UK quad poster for it, which was sent to me by Astradyne, your friend and mine. Astradyne, a traveller in time, aka Sir Astra of the Dyne. And he messaged me and said, like, I'm sending you a UK, an item from a film you will love from 1971, a dystopian future movie. Dystopian future movie? So I thought, and it was going to be a UK quad poster. I thought, okay, brilliant. Well, 71, well, Clockwork Orange, yeah, THX 1138, and there was a couple of others I thought of, and then he said the composer is a composer score that we all love, and he's a British composer, did a lot of TV stuff, renowned classic TV stuff. So straight away I thought, I know who he means, and I know the film he means, but two things. Ron Grainer was born in Australia, but he spent most of his time in the UK. We did a few Hollywood movies, a lot of TV shows, The Prisoner being perhaps the most famous of all, and Doctor Who, of course. And I thought, well, dystopian future. It's got to be the Omega Man. It's got to be the Omega Man. But that isn't the dystopian future. It's a post-apocalyptic future. We've had World War III, and biological warfare has wiped out pretty much all of humanity, except for one guy, Charlton, the Messiah, Heston, who managed to find an army scientist, found a vaccine, an experimental vaccine at the last possible moment, managed to save himself. But of course, he's not alone. As the tagline says, pray for the last man alive. He's not alone, because out there in the urban wilderness are mutants, albino mutants, that shun the sunlight and are led by ex-TV anchorman Anthony Zerbe as Matthias, who's like a cult-like demonic satanic leader, and they can't come out in the daylight, so our boy goes out there and tries to find their nest and kill them all, eradicate them. They want to kill him because he's the last remnant of the civilization gone crazy. They blame the tools and the gadgets and the technology which led man to the brink of destruction. So they want to destroy him because he's a remnant, a relic of the past. He wants to destroy them because, well, he wants to live and survive in his luxurious LA penthouse. Now, of course, this is the second film adaptation of the great Richard Matheson I Am Legend novel, which is, alongside Wolfen and The Keep, is my favourite piece of written work in the genre. I Am Legend is outstanding. Of course, Vincent Price did a version in the 60s, filmed in Rome but set in LA. And it's a very faithful black and white adaptation of Matheson's novel. Matheson's novel isn't about albino mutants, it's about vampires. Yeah, our hero Robert Neville, same guy, same scientist, has survived and is battling hordes of vampires that come out every night and try to entice him out so they can kill him. Come out, Neville, come out. And all the film versions have that sort of mentality. So it should be vampires, original novel. In the first Vincent Price movie, yeah, that's the last one on Earth, they're vampires. In this, no, they're albino mutants. Almost like, and they're called the Family. Hence, obviously shades of Charles Manson and his family there. But what was the thing at the time? You'd had the flower power, you'd had the summer of love and all that. But Vietnam was rife, obviously. Anti-authoritarianism was huge in America. So the military mindset was shunned. Politics was shunned. Alternative lifestyles were all the rage. And Satanism was huge in the States. Look at the films that came out. Rosemary's Baby, The Devil's Reign, The Exorcist, The Omen, everything, like Race with the Devil. There was tons and tons of Satanist-style movies coming out, and all bedecked in black robes, and Anton LaVey and all these sort of Aleister Crowleyites were rampant, giving it loads. So it's not a surprise that this version, the 70s version, sort of retweaked things a little bit. But I grew up with this movie. I absolutely adore it. It's not perfect. I came across whilst in the pub before, once again, and I was like thinking, I've reviewed this many times, so I tried to find some of my old reviews on different platforms. Sadly, a lot of those sites are now defunct and have gone, purely fossils now. But I did find part of a review that I wrote for AV Forums. Sadly, the actual massive film essay I wrote is gone, but the verdict, which was an essay in itself, was still there. And I outlined, I said, as much as I love this movie, I can't give it more than 8 out of 10 because it has got some severe flaws, which of course it has. And chief amongst them is the fact that Anthony Zerbe and his family of sort of black, garbed, cloaked, satanic mutants aren't frightening. They simply aren't frightening at all. And he falls into their clutches loads of times, right from nowhere go. Every single time he goes back to his house, his penthouse in a apartment block, it's a fortress. He's got tons of gadgets and surveillance equipment and all this, and generators and loads of weaponry, which we're going to talk a lot about in a bit. And he's well maintained, well stocked, but he keeps falling afoul of these guys, and these guys only use primitive rocks, bottles, crossbows, spears. They won't use tech. They won't use guns. So they may outnumber him, but he's got him by the short and demonics, because he can mow them down. He's got tons of ammunition, a massive arsenal, and loads of vehicles. This is a guy that can prowl around LA during the day and go shopping for free, of course. When he crashes his first car, which is that sequence there, which you're seeing right there, he's driving a Ford XL 1970, bright red, cruising around the streets of LA, which are strewn with debris, and there's cars overturned. And curiously, years have gone by since the plague has took over most of mankind, and he's been surviving, and obviously these mutant hordes are all around somewhere, but they manage to get together every night to attack him. But there's still bodies in the streets which are not, decomposed. There's coppers hanging out of police cars. There's people slumped over dashboards. There's people bodies in the streets. But he goes in every day. He goes out hunting again to try to find the nest and kill as many of the mutants as he possibly can find. But he keeps going around these old cobwebbed apartments and pulling back the bed sheets and finding the bones of a couple who've just embraced at the last moment and died together. And it's, a lot of poignancy there. But he can literally cruise around to his heart's content, go and watch movies at the cinema. He watches Woodstock. There you go. And but he goes and gets new clothes, goes and gets new cars, because that red convertible, he manages to crash that in the opening sequence, the title sequence. He crashes that because he just turns a corner at high speed and just, there's vehicles, whoa. But there's never a policeman when you need one, is there? As he says. But he goes and gets another one, and he gets He gets a pale blue Ford Mustang, which of course was all the rage at the time. He also has a Jeep as well, a 1940s Jeep. I think it's called a commander car, but it's one of those really squat little things. It's not a bit like a Land Rover, or like not one of the big army Jeeps, but it's very compact, and it's got all like big massive lights attached to the roof of the cab, and he bombs around in that of a night time when he's in his military fatigue and he's tooled up to fight these bastards. And it's super bouncy, boing, boing. It's great, but it just feels like it's only half a car. It's a strange choice. But we'll come on to these strange choices, his weaponry and that vehicle and his fatigues, because I think there's a really good reason for this, which I may have spoken about in the past, but I really don't remember. I may have done, who knows. But the beauty of rediscovering movies because of getting great big quad posters and suddenly, I haven't watched it for a while, and it comes back to you. You then start unpeeling new layers of a film which you thought you knew inside out. Like The Thing. Anytime I watch The Thing, I'll find something new to discuss about it, something new to concentrate on. I didn't really think about that element before. There's something I hadn't quite grasped, something I hadn't noticed. The same with this. It's the beauty of it all. Like, it's why these films keep on giving. So anyway, he sent me this quad, and it's the most unusual quad poster I've seen. Now, the Omega Man, and I'm saying Omega. You may say Omega, and you'd be wrong. It's Omega. The Omega Man has a lot of posters. There's a lot of American one sheets, which there's hundreds, and the UK quads and posters that came out were not this. In fact, until today, I have never seen that image, which is two images put together there. But there you've got the title there, obviously, the slogan, the UK certificate, which was an A certificate, and you've got Warner Brothers, and you've got the sort of the cast, blurb, and producers and all that down here. But it's two images together. There he is in the Ford XL, bombing round at the start in his Roger Moore style safari suit. He's got the pick of everything in all the LA boutique shops and clothing stores and army surplus, and he picks that and a pink shirt as well. But it is Charlton Heston. He can do what he damn well wants, and he still looks bloody good with his kind of proto aviator sunglasses on as well, proto Ray-Bans, and then underneath you've got, there he is down there. I don't know if you can see that. That's him down there, and he's walking these streets, these LA streets, strewn with rubble and debris and crashed cars and bodies everywhere. Very, very haunting image. Of course, you'd see that a lot in films afterwards. You'd seen it in The Last Man on Earth, which is the Vincent Price version. You'd seen it in that, but that was Rome, and well, that's just Rome. But LA, for God's sake, they filmed it in the early hours of a Sunday morning to get these shots in the bright sunlight, these deserted streets. It's so powerful. Don't look in the background, folks, because you will see other cars moving in the far distant background. But don't look, I told you, don't look. Don't break the spell. So that's him walking there. He's got his that's his M74. He's got his he's got bags of stuff and whatever, and he's just cruising around, trying to find another vehicle. But my point is, I've never seen that juxtaposition of those images and that title under the heading of being a UK quad poster. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm not saying it wasn't at all. But I did a little bit of research on it when I opened this, and I thought, I've never seen this bloody image before. And the only one I can find is obviously where Astradyne found it on eBay. Now, I think it's great. Because there he is, and it's from that haunting opening sequence. He's got a smile on his face, which, You know, he has to smell a lot in this movie. Despite his dire predicament, he will meet other people. He meets, you know, a living, you know, playtex doll, a living mannequin played by Rosalind Cash, a black woman who's alive and she's not a mutant, and she's part of a hippie band with headed up by Dutch, played by Paul Koslow, and they live out in the Hollywood Hills, again a fortified area, a compound. They've got massive big Browning machine guns on the rooftops and all that, and they've managed to survive Matthias and his goons for some time, but they've also been terrified of him because he goes around killing everything that moves because he just assumes they're all mutants. So they're terrified of him. He's the man, you know. And of course, they don't trust him because he's clearly military and they're way opposed to anything from the old world in a similar sort of way that Matthias and his mutants are. But so he meets Lisa, as she's called, follows her, meets them, discovers that one by one, her younger brother Richie is succumbing to the plague himself. So our boy realizes, look, I've got a vaccine there. I can help you guys, and we can all band together. And this is what the process is. He's now met other survivors, but he's immune. They're not. They've just held out for so long, but he can help them survive, and he brings Richie back to health. But Richie then says, well, what about Matthias and his people? Can't we help them? They need this vaccine as well. Our boy's like, no, I've been fighting them for years, no chance. And like, you know, I won't give them the time of day. It needs to be stamped out, eradicated. But Richie doesn't believe that, and even though he's recovered, he leaves a note saying, I'm going to go and find Matthias and try to talk him round so they come and get the vaccine from you. Big mistake, because Matthias, because Richie knows where their headquarters is. It's in the old courthouse, and he goes there. But Matthias, by the way, spoilers, folks, plentiful. Says like, you know, how do you know you're not a spy? And they capture him, they torture him, and they kill him. And Charlton Heston, Robert Neville, realizes, shit, I told him not to do this. So he gets tooled up in his vintage blue Air Force flight suit, belts with Browning high powers, and weapons and ammunition and explosives. He puts his captain's peak cap on as well. Like, it's a really striking image, far better than the safari suit and the pink shirt, put it that way. And his jeep bombs it out there and finds that Richie's been killed. And in the meantime, Lisa, who he's formed an attachment with, a romantic attachment with, and you had Captain Kirk and Uhura having a kiss, an interracial kiss, the first on TV screens. The Omega Man wasn't the first to show a white male and a black female getting it on. Wasn't the first, but it was one of the first, and it was a high-profile movie. So it really it shook things up again in that respect. Rosalind Cash is amazing in this movie. They all are, to be honest. They all are. Anthony Zerbe, he's brilliant. Heston, of course, is well, it's just Heston. You know, he's fabulous. And but everyone's great. And so she's succumbing. She's in a great shot. You know, she's out in the streets and she's got shopping because she's moved in with Robert Neville. They've got the compound elsewhere, but you know they're together now. But she's in a great shock moment. She pulls like the hood down from her head, and her afro's gone white, and her skin's turned blue. All the albinos have got blue skin, blue patchy white blue skin, and they've all got scabs and things on them as well, like the marks, as they call them. When they capture Robert Neville, he falls afoul of them so many times. You wonder how he survived so long. And they capture him and they interrogate him, and they put him under a jury and all that, like, you're all guilty and all this. Show him, brothers. Show them the marks, and they all take their hoods down, take their glasses off. They all wear these big black shades. They've got white eyes, like Mr. Kentucky Fudge up here somewhere. There he is, there in his own hood, his own satanic family hood, and they've got scabby white pallid faces, and she's now become one of them. So, but of course, Robert Neville doesn't know that, and he's just found Richie dead. So he's totally crazed, and he drives back through the streets. But of course, it's after dark now, and they're all out in the streets, and he won't drive vehicles, but they'll push them though to form like roadblocks, and he's bombing it round all these things, bouncing around in that Jeep, boing, boing, boing all over the place, to avoid another vehicle pushing his way. He overturns the Jeep to go straight through the front store window of a toy store, and gets his machine gun out, takes a few hours, and they're chucking rocks and stuff at him and firing crossbows, and he gets an explosive, shoves it under the car, blows them up and in a great moment, which is rare for the time this film came out. You see them on fire. They've swayed him. They've got robes on him. It's the easy way to have someone on fire in a movie, have them bedecked in black robes. So like, oh, they're running around, but the stuff's on fire, but they're okay. They're untouched. Now, in a lot of films, you see people on fire, even the bad guys. The good guy will then shoot them to put them out the misery. No, he doesn't. He lets them burn, and I think that's great. But he goes back to his apartment, his fortified penthouse. But Lisa's there. Lisa's turned, and she's let Matthias and his mob in there. So he gets captured again at the end, and they say, "Listen, it's a great moment because Anthony Zerbe goes, 'Come in, Neville.' Sounds strange, doesn't it? Come in, Neville." Because all the time they're going, "Neville, come out, Neville." And now they're inside his gaff, and they've got him, and they smash all his things to bits, all his TV screens and his vinyl, his LP record decks and all that, everything he's got, they smash to bits. His gun rack gets leveled to the deck. But and they say, like, now it's all over. Now it's time, once we've got rid of you, it's time to build. And he just goes, "Build coffins. That's all you'll need." And then he manages to break free, puts like a broken bottle or a knife to Matthias's throat, and manages to pick up another gun off the deck, which we'll talk about those guns. I'm going to come to those guns because they're important. Manages to kill one of them, gets Lisa, gets out, but the shutter to his garage goes up, looks at the time, damn it, it's still 10 minutes to sunrise. We'll have to chance it, because obviously going to be other ones that he's going to be out before the sun comes up. But as they get out there, Matthias is on the balcony. He starts shouting for Lisa, "Lisa!" And he turns that spotlights on, which of course Neville had used against them, and now blinds Neville. And Neville's trying to shoot, and he gets his weapon. Damn it, it's jammed. And Anthony Zerbe's Matthias picks up a spear left by one of his second in command, Zachary, or Zachariah, forgotten now, Zachary, I think it is, who in an earlier assassination attempt has scaled the outside of the penthouse. They've turned off the generator to all his power, and he's there with Lisa for a romantic night. Leaves her on her own in a great suspenseful moment, set piece. Leaves her on her own, goes down to the basement to go jack up the generator. While Zachary's climbing up, and just as he gets back just in time to see Zachary, shoots him, who falls over the balcony, lands on spikes, blood, and but he's dropped his spear on the balcony, so that's where Matthias gets the spear from, and he's like, "Lisa!" Oh, picks it up, a fucking good shot, and he gets our boy, not in the heart, but on the other side, but whoa, hits him, and he falls into a fountain. The sun is about to rise, but it's too late for our boy, our hero. It's got him, so a great shot, he pulls it out, and blood goes everywhere. And for a guy that's been a sacrificial lamb in many other movies, Heston now is the Messiah. "Lisa," he says, and she's going, Robert, you're evil, but she doesn't leave him. We don't see what happens to the rest of the mutants, because they think he's gone. Friend, they call him Friend Neville. "It's over now, Friend Neville. The nightmare is over." and like, dream now, whatever. And he falls into the fountain, but he lasts till sun up. Lisa's still there, and Dutch and all the kids turn up, and they've got they've got a Land Rover or something like that. Not one of his little bouncy jalopy Second World War Jeeps. And but what he's done when he escaped, he knew that his blood, not just the vaccine, but he's carrying the vaccine in him because it's in his blood. So he managed to get a bottle of his own blood, and it's in his jacket, and he manages to produce that for Dutch, but drops it in the water, and he managed to fish it out. And they collect Lisa. They're going to cure Lisa, and their plan is to travel out to the Sierra Nevadas, which is quite some way out from LA, but it's the wilderness, and they reckon they can live out there away from all these mutants, and they'll be fine, and they'll all be cured. There's a cat on the prowl. If you knew how hard it was to erect that behind me, you'd now be as nervous as I am, because that puddy tat, that feline fiend, is going to wreak havoc with that. He might survive, well, he doesn't survive the mutants, but, he definitely won't survive that cat. Anyway, the final shot, of course, is like he collapses in the fountain, and his arms in the water get spread out like that, and he forms the crucified, the Christ on the cross, the cruciform, and he's there, he is like that, and it's just, it's a bit, sledgehammered. Boom. He's the saviour of mankind, of course, but he's also a relic of the old world, and he has to be eradicated. He has to go. In the novel I Am Legend, the title is the final line, I Am Legend, because Robert Neville realises that the vampires have in fact taken over the world, and they are the new dominant species. He is the monster that they tell their kids about. He's the bogeyman. He's the last human being, but he's the monster compared to the dominant species. So he doesn't have a place anymore. I Am Legend, and it's beautiful. So this version, it springboards from that and takes on the whole messianic angle, that he is the saviour of mankind, but by virtue of that, he has to sacrifice himself. He has to die so that they can live on with his blood, the blood of Christ, and but with him, they couldn't survive. The mutants would be after him because they have to kill him because he's the relic of the old world. It's very clever, very thought-provoking. It's a lot deeper than people actually think. They think of it as like, it's just that quaint, kind of bizarre 70s post-apocalyptic movie. It's comic book, but it's kind of like weird. There's a lot of stuff going on in it, a lot of stuff, and I've just outlined a lot of it there. Interracial relationships, the Manson family, the flower power and how it turned, Christ, being revisited in LA, the city of angels. So there's a lot to consider. And this score. But what I want to talk about is, again, reinforcing the fact that Robert Neville is a relic. This is 1971. America was heavily still involved in Vietnam. The M16 was the weapon of choice. Uzis, Ingram Mac-10s were used as well. Lots of other submachine guns which were far more modern and would have looked like the weapons he would have had. Don't forget, this is set slightly in the future, so it's not 1971, it's meant to be 1975. And then I think we get the 1970. I can't remember now. Pretty certain that he sees a calendar which is marked at 1975, but I think it's several years after that. Anyway, so because it's been going on for years, it's been alone for a long time. But in 71, when this film was made and released, the M16 was the weapon. So why didn't they have him carrying modern weapons of that era? But they don't. They have him carrying stuff from decades before. There's Thompson submachine guns. He has, what is it called? I've got it written down here. It's a German, where is it now? Oh God. A German MP40 9mm. Now, he has that at the very end of the movie. When he breaks free from his own apartment and he's got like a knife to Matthias's throat. And then he manages to like pick up a gun, grab Lisa, and make a getaway. And he fires a few shots. It's a German MP40, commonly known as the Schmeiser. You see it all the Second World War movies. All the Germans are carrying these. Only it's not a Schmeiser. They never were. They were never Schmeisers. The Allies called them that, but they were wrong, because the guy that invented a lot of German weapons for the Axis powers during World War II, Hugo Schmeiser, but he didn't invent this weapon, but they called it the Schmeiser. And when I was growing up watching, A Bridge Too Far and every bloody World War II movie going, Dunkirk and everything like that, Tobruk, all the Germans had Schmeisers, only they didn't have Schmeisers because they weren't Schmeisers. They weren't called that. But every Brit and every Allied soldier thought they were Schmeisers. Anyway, he uses that at the very end. And as I said to you, damn it, it's jammed, because he's about to shoot Matthias. Jammed. Only it's not jammed. it's another weird little moment. He uses the bolt, and the mechanism is working perfectly well. But he's firing the trigger, nothing's happening. It's not jammed. And also, to stop, jams did happen, but on that, the MP40 was a very reliable weapon. But a lot of them, you get dirt or debris in it, you may get a feed jam. Somebody's going to get dislodged, or like a misspent cartridge, a misspent bullet is going to lodge in there. So it can happen, but it was very rare. Also, if you fill a magazine, it took 32 rounds in the magazine, but experienced soldiers wouldn't put 32 in there. They put 28, maybe 30 tops, because the springs would be too heavily taxed. If you can hear that, that's the cat dragging a body up the stairs. and he's actually fired a few rounds as he escaped and killed one of the mad monks, the mutants. So it's purely because he's now going to become extinct. His old weaponry is becoming extinct. It won't work for him. He has to go. And it's in the script. It's in the plot, obviously. But I think it's a great little moment. It's a fabulous finale. But every other weapon he uses is from the past. The Jeep is from the past. And it's all to do with the fact that he is from the past. From the world and the science and civilization and society that created world wars. And don't forget, this was World War III, and this biological weapon was unleashed, and it's eradicated most of mankind. 95% of mankind's gone, but apart from him and the mutants. So Matthias and his mob, they turn their backs. We've got to go back to medieval ways. Don't use technology. Science never did us any good. You lied to us all and all this. And don't forget, because he was a TV anchorman, he's got the power, the gift of the gab. He's charismatic and people are drawn to him. So he's not wrong in many ways. But their practices are a bit strange. And also, where the hell? We know that he can go cruise around and find his safari jackets and his pink shirts and all that, and get some new hats and new Ray-Bans and whatever he wants, and new cars. But where the hell do they go? Why is their fashion black satanic robes and black shades? Well, the shades, yeah, they can't look at the sunlight or bright lights. I get that. But why are they going to wear these bloody robes? Well, I'll tell you why. Because of this whole fascination that America and the media and Hollywood had with Satanism at this time. So that's why they're wearing it. And it's cool. It looks interesting. It gives them a darker, ghoulish sort of appearance. Because don't forget, this wasn't like Living Dead, and it wasn't Dawn of the Dead. And they couldn't afford elaborate makeups for a huge number of people and have them all rotting in the streets. That wasn't going to happen. So, anyway, I think the film is fantastic. I think that quad is very unusual, but I do like that it's that granite chiseled chin of his, looking really cool. Not many people can carry off a pink shirt and a safari jacket, can they? Roger Moore did it, I know, but that's Roger Moore. Chuck Heston, about the only other guy that could do it, I think. Now, you guys know that if I had that jacket, I'd be wearing it right now. And truth be told, I had a jacket once very similar to that. It wasn't a safari jacket. Do you know what it was? Do you remember in Lethal Weapon where Martin Riggs, they go out to get Rianne back, and they're on is it Platinum Dunes, Silver Dunes, where Silver Lake, I can't remember now, by Victorville, you know, and out in the desert, and Riggs is wearing like sort of chinos, you know, beige coloured chinos to blend in with the sand, obviously, and he wears like a safari, a tan sort of jacket. Well, I got that jacket. I sourced it right back in the 80s when I was very young. I found that jacket and I used to wear it loads. Oh, and of course, many moves ago, it went. I don't know where it went, but it went. I probably left it on the sand somewhere because I couldn't fucking find it, like blended in. But I would have worn that otherwise. I don't have a pink shirt. I couldn't have done that. But I would like the, he wears this navy blue flight suit and combat boots and his captain's peak cap, which is a bizarre thing, but it looks really good though. I think it's a tremendous look. Now, I've got Michael Myers, I've not got Michael Myers here under lock and key, because you wouldn't keep him for long, would you? Especially not October 31st comes around. He's off again, like, with a bit of time to kill. And I've got the original green coveralls, which he wears in 1978 Halloween. They're not blue in the first movie, they are green. I know, I've covered this a lot, and I've put bullet holes in them and blood stains, and they look fantastic. But from that point onwards, they were blue, and you could wear the blue coveralls. You could get away with that. I think you could probably do it. There's no insignia on his stuff, but you know, this is the cosplay in me that I enjoy that sort of thing. So I'd love to do that actually. It's an iconic look in that blue flight suit, you know, with his pistol belt on and ammo and all that, and his machine gun. Looks great. So, the music, Ron Grader's music. Now, I have covered this a lot in the past, so we won't really go too much in depth on this. But this is where people that may enjoy the movie don't like it because the music sets them off. The music is unusual, but I grew up with this movie and I loved this music right from the word go. The marriage of the imagery, him, the sacrifice, the excitement of it, the tragedy of it all, and this music really, really went hand in hand for me. And when this came out, this score was finally released in, I think, 2001, 2002. Yeah, it was something like that. It was a long time ago, and I've got every version of it since. There's been several versions on CD, and I've got them all. There's a couple of them here right now, yeah. And I adore it. So there's a couple of classical pieces in there, like sort of lounge, jazz sort of stuff. Max Steiner, A Summer Place, Cole Porter, All Through the Night. But here's the main theme. Can I turn this up a little bit? Now, ignore the flower power, like sort of, you know, little gentle elements to it. Listen to the it's a slow version of the main theme, which of course is Neville's theme. Yes, that tea is stone cold. This is him driving round. What he uses is a waterphone and water chimes and vibraphones, and like basically a bell submerged in water and then clanged underwater gives this sort of sonorous woozy sort of sound effect, and you hear it a lot in this score. But there's also organs, there's several different organs being used, and keyboards. There's a bit of alien electronica, a lot of brass. You can hear the guitars gently being, you know, sort of hippie sort of strumming taking place. I think an Aussie that worked most of his career in the UK, doing a lot of experimental, outrageous TV stuff, The Prisoner, Doctor Who, and then getting a shot at Hollywood movies. He was into, he went through different phases of being into different types of music, and of course this is a bit of a stew of a lot of different elements of music which he'd been into, and he threw it all into this movie, this score. So you get the hint of the family's theme there, Matthias. I mean, this is lovely. This is because he's alone. There's a great moment where he hears all the phones ringing in the streets, all the pay phones, they're ringing, and he's going for them like, no, there is no phone ringing, you know. And his voice echoes in the silence. The ringing stops. Talks to himself, talks to the mannequins, you know. If you ever see the Human League video for Life on Your Own, it's inspired by this movie. Phil Oakey is walking through London streets which are deserted. This is before 28 Days Later. He's walking through deserted London streets. There's buses and cars, debris everywhere. It's exactly taken from this. He goes to video libraries. He goes to shops where there's mannequins there. He's playing Robert Neville. Really cool. I think so. Okay, there's the main theme in a relaxed, sedate version. But they captured him one of the many times. This is called On the Tumbril. And you can hear these wacky organs and keyboards. And they put like a dunce's cap on him, and he's on the tumbril, and they're wheeling him through into the Dodgers Stadium in LA, baseball ballpark, and they're going to execute him there. And this is early on. this is not hearing. He gets jumped and ambushed several times before he even get to this stage. You wonder how the hell he survived at all. So you get a combination of Neville's theme and the family theme. Look, listen to this. Oh God. I so love this. When I was a kid, I used to, before you could get the soundtrack to this at all, for many years, I still remembered all these themes, and I'd hum them to myself. And then finally, when that CD arrived, I was like, it was the Holy Grail, the holiest of Holy Grails. And it's never let me down. I've played it so often. But I know people that can't stand this music. It just doesn't fit the movie. It does! It does, I tell you. So he gets rescued here. This, obviously, he's met Lisa. He's seen her posing as a mannequin, and he's like looking at her, and then her eyes move, and he's like, and she legs it, and he loses her. But he will meet her again here because she and Dutch will rescue him from these bastards. Like Dutch has got a motorbike, like with a Thompson submachine gun strapped to the back of it. It's got all like flashbangs and stuff like. You got bongos, and you got drums, you got snares, a lot of cymbal use as well. Sorry, I'm going to turn it up a bit more. For an action scene, it's quite unusual music, I will give you that. But it's really exciting. The xylophone. It's like Scooby-Doo when he's on tiptoes. These vibraphones. But this ends up being a big chase sequence on a motorbike. Rosalind Cash, Lisa, no. You just have to play James Bond and we have to bust your ass. You know, I know it's a roll, but it's hard on the elbows. She's got a gun in the back of his neck. Ride, ride, man, ride! And as they're all converging, and it's clearly not. Listen, you can hear the waterphone there. Boom, the bell underwater. It's so weird. And they're driving up and down the stadium seats and down the tunnels, and you've got all these black-robed guys with like flaming torches, and he's ploughing them all down. It is not Charlton Heston driving that motorbike. And as you watch it, you can see the guy who is riding it in the same clothing, obviously, looks totally different. He's got his head turned away and his elbows up to try and hide his face. I'm really Charlton Heston doing this. No, you ain't. See, the piano comes in and it's gentle. The guitar going there, and the bass, and the waterphone. And the brass comes in. Ding, 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 boom. I think it's so addictive. Again, in 1971, funk, bit of jazz. Lalo Schifrin was huge at this time, you know. Bullet and Dirty Harry. There's an earnest quality to this main action theme, Neville's theme. It's like even now you know that he's doomed. You know, they're kicking ass right now. They're getting away with it. But the way that Ron Grinner spins this music out, there's a fatalistic quality to it which I think is undeniable. And they managed to get through a blocked doorway, flashbangs, drive them all back. Hitch up your drawers, he says to Rosalind Cash. And the stuntman ploughs through, does a leap over some cars in slow motion. And that's when he meets this other community and realises, I'm not alone, but you're all going to die. You've all got the plague. The plague's in you, but I've got the cure. So listen to me. I'm the man. It plays with, you know, would he accept them that easily? After years of fighting and not trusting anything that moves, how would he, anything that moves? I don't trust that thing moving around behind me right now. Do not trust that. Oh, this is like trying to treat Richie, you know, Lisa's brother. It's just little guitar play. But listen how the strings in the background, the violins, go queasy. Because as I said before, Richie's doomed. He makes an unwitting sacrifice. He tries to do the right thing, tries to save Matthias and his mob, and ends up paying the ultimate price. It turns, it's delicate, it's sensitive, it's hopeful, but that undercurrent goes darker, doesn't it, and deeper, just uneasy enough to unsettle. So it's slowed down. Oh yeah, you're getting it, aren't you? My face is just getting bigger by the minute. So I'm drinking Murphy's now, not whiskey. Drinking Murphy's stout. It's got a haunting quality to it. Oh, it's turned again. Beautiful, but I'm going to move on. This goes on a bit longer. Okay, here we go. This is the generator going. And this is Zachary makes his, it's called Zachary makes his move. And I find this set piece in the movie and this music similar to on Her Majesty's Secret Service, Lazenby's Bond, and it's getting into Gunbolt's safe before the guy comes back and getting the information out and putting it in the air, the big thing outside on the big crane and all that. But the suspense of him waiting, you know, at times ticking by. John Barry's score. This is Ron Grinner doing that sort of thing. Robert Neville leaves Lisa behind. I'll go and fix the generator. Don't worry, you'll be all right. I mean, all the mob are outside, but Zachary, let me do it, Matthias. Let me go. I can take him. And the thing is, Zachary does use a bit of technology to help him do this. So he's not exactly playing by the family's rule book. So this Baroque Gothic element with the organs and the waterphone and the chimes. Cellos. That's of course Neville's theme. So he's gone down, Zachary's going up, and she's getting nervous as well, like, Robert. And forever, gong. He swaps the instruments round, he reorchestrates it. There's a cat still on the prowl behind here somewhere. She often leaps through here at high speed, so if that suddenly goes flying past, like a cat out of hell. It gets deeper and more like menacing as it goes on. Oh, I just love that. Again, that earnest quality, that, you know, that sense of foreboding. Even though it's a variation on the heroic theme, but the way it's played and slowed down, you just know it won't last. I think that's really clever, that. So this, how lush is this? And melodic for a highly suspenseful sequence. I see a bit of John Barry there. Yeah, so you can see it prowling. He's actually saved the day there. Sort of tribal jazz there. Sort of chaos. Right. We're going to go to... Okay, this is Richie going to the courthouse to go and speak to Matthias and the family. who clearly don't want to know. That's obviously, let's take that back a bit actually. Neville reads the note. Neville knows, right, shit, I'm gonna have to go and save him. Goes back to his place, tools up, gets his flight suit on. This is it now. I'm gonna save the day again. Too late for that, mate. Cat's nibbling some dried stuff there. Now this is Lisa on the street corner, caught out after dark. They're coming around with torches and all that, and she's going takes the hood down, and she's one of them now, Matthias. So this is the shock moment here. That's the family theme, of course. Now I think we're going to get not sure what bit this is. I'm actually not sure what bit this is. I think this is Neville going into the courthouse. And he's gonna find Richie's body. Yeah, this is it. So it's all one long track, you see. And in fact, 2 of the cues have been swapped round. They don't play that way in the movie, but this is how they're meant to be. Where he finds Richie's body. He goes, oh my God. You don't really see what's happened to Richie. He's there, I think he's in the judge's chair, and his eyes are open, his head's like that. There's all blood coming out of his mouth. He's obviously been done in pretty badly. So the family, you don't really see them as a threat. They're all in the robes and swinging torches around and all that, and they're getting shot and run over and beaten up, and they don't really seem like much of a threat. They're lying in wait for Neville all the time. This is where he finds him, sorry. Oh my God. And here we go. It snap cut to him in the Jeep, fucking going ballistic. In that Jeep, fucking bouncing around. Puts the lights on. There's all vehicles in the way, and he's like, fuck hell. He's going for him, out the way, weaving round. Symbols and all. That's the way he crashes. It's very brief. It's a brief flurry of absolute adrenaline. And then you get this. He's crashed now. It's a toy store, so Ron Grinner gives you this conceit of a music box playing now. And it's an action scene. He's getting shot at with arrows and things held at him, and he's machine gunning these bastards. And he gets that explosive out in a big sort of canvas pouch. And slides it under the car. Boom! And they're all like, ah! Then he walks off. You see the mob coming down the street, he just goes, and then just casually walks back to his penthouse, where they're all waiting for him. But listen to this. How haunting, how odd to do this. As a kid, I was mesmerised. It shows a composer who was absolutely unafraid. I may never get a gig like this again, so I'm going to do everything I can. I'm going to be creative, I'm going to be avant-garde, baroque, gothic, exciting, funky, lounge. I'm going to do everything, and I'm going to make whatever sticks is going to be there, and everything stuck. Right, okay, this is where he's confronted in his own place. I'm going to move it along now. This is the finale. They're holding him down. They smash up all these things, and you get this big speech of Matthias. The dream is over, friend Neville. Now we can live. The nightmare's over for you. Blah blah blah. Now we can build coffins. That's all we'll need. Because he knows they're going to die. They can't live without the vaccine. They can't live. They're all going to die. He's found other mutants from this mob who have died, succumbed to it. So he knows that they're on borrowed time, but Matthias doesn't want to believe that. They're going to move on. Once we've got rid of Neville, that's it. We can live again. But his last-ditch attempt, and because he now knows that Lisa's one of them as well, but he knows he can. He's got the vaccine. He's got his jars of his blood. Right, it's going to kick in for the big final flurry. Yeah. How cool is this? But you're gonna get his theme, and you're gonna hear how doomed it is. You can tell from that there's no escape. He's not gonna get away with this. But in his own sacrifice, his own death, he liberates the people he's grown to know and love. It's so gentle, isn't it? And the door opens, it's like, 10 minutes to sun up. I'll have to chance it. But it won't get very far. And it's a lovely ornate fountain where he'll have his last stand. I think only a few years later, 1979, Burt Lancaster, another great star from this generation, alongside Charlton Heston, in Zulu Dawn, would get a Zulu spear and assegai flung at him. Oh! Exactly the same sort of way, only he gets it in the heart. Damn it, it's jammed. Click, clicked. It's not jammed. Oh, the piano, Matthias just goes, spear. You. And the way he falls into the fountain as well. Oh, Lisa! Oh, fucking blood going everywhere like That's gorgeous, and it ends very, very peacefully because they say Dutch and the kids turn up. And the little girl picks up his waterlogged, blood-stained hat out of the waters of the fountain, and she puts it on the side like that, and just looks at him. "Let's go, kids," says Dutch. And he drops in the water, and his arms rise up. It's a powerful film. It's a wonderful novel. Wonderful Neville novel, and obviously Will Smith did I Am Legend and is doing I Am Legend 2. And I love I Am Legend. I think it's a great movie. The alternate ending I think is the best way to go, and I've covered that a lot as well, and that film means a lot to me. That this entire story, whichever version you're telling, Vincent Price, Charlton Heston, Will Smith, the original novel, it blows me away. See, again, here's Neville's theme. You're going to be haunted by this theme though, aren't you? I hope the action scenes will stick in your mind, and that music box, that crazy, sort of haunted, forlorn, lonely, eerie music box. See, how many different variations have you heard of this main theme? It's brilliant, you know. And it's woven in and out of the entire score. remember rightly, you will get a lovely little... this is the kids, and Dutch and Lisa, who's covered up because she's still, don't forget, she's now a mutant, but they can save her now, they've got the blood. So off they drive to the Sierra Nevadas. But if I remember rightly, that's where the actor Julian Sands went missing and then was found months later deceased. So folks, there you go, the Omega Man. I've talked about it a lot, and this was all inspired by that rather strange UK quad. Oh, it's lovely, isn't it? I mean, if that was a genuine UK quad, I'm sure there'd be some kind of record of it, but other than the eBay image of that, I can't find it anywhere. But it doesn't matter, I still love it. That's evocative down there, and just seeing him, knowing the scene it's from, it's gorgeous. Astradyne, cheers mate, cheers. Cheers, Chuck. The Omega Man. If you haven't seen it, you need to now, do you? It's a wonderful film. It's a strange film. It's a strange take. It's a very 70s take on this sort of story, and certainly because of the satanic sort of angle with the family and their garb and their whole brotherhood aspect there, sort of pseudo medieval religious cult like ideas. But it's great, and you get action, and you get the weird vista of an LA deserted. Really brilliant. So folks, the Omega Man, I loves it, I does, and I'm sure most of you do too, because I've talked about it a lot before and I've had loads of feedback, and you guys seem to be on the same page as this. So folks, I have been always shall be Kilt-Man. Please, in the meantime, this ever, enjoy the end of the world in between time. Please keep it Celtic, keep it Celtic, and if you've got sacred blood, siphon a bit off for everybody else, put it in some jars so we can get it for later when the plague hits us all. So anyway, guys, take it easy, be happy, be healthy, and I'm going to see you all later. Neville crashes through. Let's do it again. You know what's coming. Oh God. I always manage to mistime these things. There's always a bell or a chime, gong, bong, gong, or the water boat. Boom, boom. Oh my God. Here we go, here we go. Oh, I just love this. It's such a great cut from the doom of Richie's death to like Chuck Heston, like, fucking hell, and take you fuckers down. Ah! When I was a kid and first watched it on TV, I was just like, ah. I'd seen nothing like it. Anyway, with this uber weirdness, again, it's full of tragedy, isn't it? Again, at this stage, I've tried everything. I tried to help that Richie lad, and he's gone and got himself killed. Why do I bother? That's what he's thinking at the time, like, oh well, maybe Lisa's at home making the tea. Oh no, she's one of them as well. And all the bad guys are in my house. Folks, take it easy. Going to see you all later.